हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
कुंदन प्रभु, हरे कृष्णा प्रभु, दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु, दंडवत प्रणाम।
दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु, हरे कृष्णा. Maybe we'll wait for a couple of more minutes. If others who are waiting to join, then we'll start. Hare Krishna. Actually, one of the devotee met a car accident, so his car was totaled and he's uh, 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 90 minutes away. So someone is going to pick him up, but he's safe. But the car is gone. But so we're just discussing. Okay, so we'll begin now. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं च. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते. तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्. Okay, we are doing a seminar on lust. Anartha series is going on. Um, mm, we discussed only the beginning part of it, so we'll proceed further. Krishna and his pastimes are not influenced by lust. I think last slide. Let us see what the last thing we discussed. When lust and hankering are unsatisfied, the element of krodha appears, which is formidable enemy of the conditioned soul. So, again, coming, this is um, mm, lust and hankering. They are related. Comes from meditation. Comes from contemplation. Um, this is like the job of kind of Kamdev, and uh, there is meeting, and there Kamdev throws arrows, and it develops lust and hankering in a conditioned soul. Kamdev can affect a living entity to the extent the living entity has lust in his heart. It's not that once we become purified, um, then Kamdev will not be able to do anything also. And Krodh is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. um, mm, तैतो विषयान् पुंसां संगस्तेषुपजायते संजायते kama krodha bijayate. From unfulfilled calm, unfulfilled lust, krodh, anger comes. That is the only cause of anger. Lust, we discussed, like even attachment to the things should go my way, or any kind of attachment comes under the category of lust and hankering. Any kind of, even Shrimad Bhagavatam describes every relationship in this world is also influenced by lust. Every relationship. So, and because attachment is also part of lust. That's what Arjuna was having so much difficulty to fight, and Krishna is like, so direct and so clear and so straightforward. We can see, and doesn't beat around the bush. You see, Arjuna was in a very very difficult situation when he has to fight his family members, whom he, some of the family members, he loved the most, and he is in this state of tears and trembling. So that's like really a common man can relate to it. And we see the answer of Krishna was so direct, and he's telling it is because of lust you are having these symptoms. It is you are acting like a fool. So direct and so clear. And unfulfilled desires leads to anger. Now, Krishna and his pastimes are not influenced by lust. Janma karma cha me divyam. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that my um, birth and my activities are divyam. One time, Kamdev, Cupid, he, like, sometimes he takes this role. Those who don't know the story, um, one time he was asked to entice Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva is like Sadashiv in spiritual world, the original source, Sadashiv, he comes from Sankarshan. So he is Vishnu Tattva. But then he becomes influenced. He willingly come under the influence of mode of ignorance for the purpose of destruction. So he deals with the modes. Then Kamdev. Now there are demigods who are in charge of all the functioning of the body. So like Indra is there for rain and water, and Varuna is there for ocean. Um, mm, Sun god is there, moon god is there, Vayu god is there. So likewise, there are demigod in charge for everything. So likewise, the demigod in charge to entice a person towards male or female is Kamdev, Cupid. So he was given a task to entice Lord Shiva. So he went, and Lord Shiva looked, and Kamdev shot one after the other 5 arrows. So these 5 arrows are, I don't remember. It's like one is like Stamba, Madana. So it's like there is um, liking, and then there is um, desire, and then there is like infatuation, and then there is great hankering and longing, and it's like uncontrollable madness. So one after the other, these 5 arrows are shot after repeated association, and one becomes like completely captivated. uh, so he shot one after the other 5 arrows at once onto Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva was completely bewildered. And Lord Shiva was thinking that how these feelings are coming, where are they coming from? Lord Shiva is always absorbed. It is said in Shrimad Bhagavatam, Lord Shiva is always um, meditating on Sankarshan. And this verse from Padma Puran, Shri Ram Ram Rameti, Lord Shiva tells Parvati that I always chant the names of Ram. So there are many instances. So Lord Shiva is a pure devotee, Vaishnava Yatha Shambhu. And then when he was experiencing such deep emotions in his heart, he was thinking, where is it coming from? And then he noticed Kamdev. Now Kamdev is in a lower position because these are demigods, but Lord Shiva is like, he's on a very high position, in a way, even higher than Brahma within this material world. So when Lord Shiva saw and realized this is the work of this Kamdev and he's attacking him, immediately through his glance, Lord Shiva burned um, Kamdev to ashes. So the body of Kamdev is burnt. Now Kamdev does not have a body. He's just like a ghost, but he's still fully conscious, and he still does his job of enticing the living entity towards opposite sex. So um, during Krishna's pastimes, demigods, like Krishna has um, dancing pastimes. So in Vrindavan, especially. So during Krishna's pastimes, even the demigods would come um, with their wives to watch Krishna's Ras Leela pastimes. They are very divine pastimes, and it is said that those who are not with pure eyes could not see. So even when demigods would see Krishna, um, they will be surprised, but they cannot see. They could see only Krishna. They could not see gopis, because anyone who has lust in their heart cannot see Krishna's pastimes, because Krishna's pastimes are not mundane. But the queens of demigods, the wives of demigods, they could see, because for whatever reason, um, they are in different situation and position. Um, so the news spread. Lord Shiva has witnessed, and these pastimes are very divine. A common man fails to understand, and they think that Krishna's pastimes are also influenced by lust. They think like that. So they gave this task to Kamdev, that you excite Krishna, that you entice Krishna, and you throw your arrows. So although he's in subtle body, he still can throw arrows and do his work. And Kamdev went, and Kamdev saw Krishna, but he saw the back of Krishna. And then this pastime is very detailed, and I myself cannot go in detail of this pastime. Um, but in essence, um, as he was looking at Krishna, um, Krishna was dancing. A very overview I will give, and Kamdev started shooting arrows at Krishna, and each and every arrow that he shot at Krishna, the arrow reached Krishna, and Krishna is covered by his Yoga Maya potency. He is covered by Yoga Maya potency, his internal potency. So nobody can penetrate that potency of Krishna. He has a covering around him. Um, so as soon as the arrow reaches, it gets stuck by the Yogamaya potency, never reaches Krishna, and each and every arrow will fall down. And these are all subtle arrows. You don't see anything. Krishna is watching, but nobody else was able to see Kamdev. And Krishna was Krishna was dancing. Um, so Kamdev was very much surprised, and then he just got a thought that maybe whatever everybody was telling, that Krishna's pastimes are transcendental, maybe it is true. And then he noticed that when he saw the face of Krishna, Krishna was completely in a mode of transcendence. Like, when a person is influenced by lusty desires, you will see the face changes. The face becomes like influenced by lusty desires, and there is like a lot of passion that is visible in the face of a conditioned soul. But then Kamdev noticed that Shri Krishna, as he was dancing, whether he was maybe um, holding the hand of Radharani or whatever, as he was rotating, whatever he was doing, he was completely in pure transcendental expression, with a slight smile, and giving pleasure to his devotees according to the way the devotees want Krishna to reciprocate with them, because Krishna is Rasaraj, so he reciprocate with his devotees feelings in a way devotees approach him. So some approach him in Vatsalya Ras as parents, some approach him in Sakya Ras, some approach him in Madhurya Ras. But a conditioned soul thinks that if somebody is approaching Krishna and Madhurya Ras, then it is influenced by the same emotions like a conditioned soul is influenced. But then when he look at Krishna, it's like Krishna is completely transcendental, and he is just trying to give pleasure to his devotees. And Kamdev was he was contemplating. He felt very helpless. It is described that Kamdev arranged a nice breeze and nice environment and nice smell from lotus flowers, and he arranged such a perfect. And Krishna is completely transcendental. And Kamdev got a revelation from within his heart that actually whatever demigods have told, Kamdev actually wanted to test Krishna. He thought that there is no living entity on this planet who is beyond my jurisdiction. Even I could, uh, I could even influence Lord Shiva. Although he got a punishment from Lord Shiva, but Lord Shiva was influenced. Like Srila Prabhupada, we discussed last week, Srila Prabhupada writes that Parvati enticed Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva gave in to it, and Kartikeya was born. So there is no living entity. It is said in Shrimad Bhagavatam, no living entity is free from these lusty desires. And it said other than Nar Narayan Rishi, because they are supreme personality of Godhead. Otherwise, no living entity is free from it. So when Kamdev saw, he realized. And then when Krishna saw that Kamadev is no more in the mood of testing Krishna, and he is taking a humble position, that Krishna's pastimes are transcendental and free from any material emotions, then, and he is taking a humble position, then Krishna manifested his divinity, and Krishna revealed a, a spiritual revelation. and it is described that he could see Goloka Vrindavan. He could get a glimpse of spiritual world, and he could see, just like Brahma got a spiritual revelation. Brahma was thinking Krishna is a normal cowherd boy, and he stole the cowherds and he stole the cows. 1 year passed, and when he came back, then Brahma took a humble position when he saw that Krishna has expanded into all the cowherd boys. They look exactly like the cowherd boys, but they are actually expansions of Narayan. And when Brahma saw that all the cowherd boys turned into Narayan and being worshipped by Brahmanas and cows, millions of cowherd boys, so Brahma was completely humble and he bowed down. When he bowed down to Krishna, then Vrindavan was revealed to him. And there is this verse, Chinta Mani Prakara Sadma Shakalpa Vriksha. Every grain of dust of Vrindavan is Chintamani. Uh, Kalpa Vriksha. Um, every tree in Vrindavan is Kalpa Vriksha, is desire fulfilling tree. So like that, Krishna is, so this whole, there is Brahma Samhita he wrote Brahma Samhita describing the divinity of Goloka, the divinity of Vrindavan. It was revealed to him because of Brahma's taking a humble position. Likewise, Krishna allowed Kamdev to witness the divine abode and Krishna's divine stature to Kamdev. And Kamdev fainted. And then Krishna wanted to show his mercy onto this Kamdev. So that subtle body of Kamdev entered into Krishna. Krishna allowed in this way. And later on, when Krishna went to Dwarka and Krishna married Rukmini, then Rukmini gave birth to Pradyumna, and this Pradyumna was Kamdev that entered Krishna's body. And Krish and Kamdev, although he was without a body because the body was burned by Lord Shiva, again got the body. This story comes from Shrimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. When you go Dwarka pastimes, there Sukadev Goswami describes how this is the same Kamdev, and he appeared um, um, as Pradyumna, as Pradyumna. So, having this understanding, it is described in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvata. One who knows this tattva, one who knows this truth. Tattva deham punarjanma naiti mamiti, so Arjuna. He doesn't take birth again in this material world. Although this pastime goes in great detail, and because the pastime is so intimate, in this assembly I could not describe in great detail, but the essence we understood, that Krishna's birth and Krishna's pastimes are transcendental, but conditioned souls, they have a tendency to project their consciousness onto Krishna also. So there are so many paintings people draw and so much people speak, and they say um, uh, Krishna is also influenced by material emotions, just like a conditioned soul. Krishna says, I am beyond the three modes. This emotion is mode of passion. And Krishna says, I am beyond the three modes. So one who can understand this truth about Krishna, even he will not get a material body at the end of this birth. So his pastimes are not influenced by lust. Then there is example of Nar Narayan Rishi. So Indra sent um, um, when Indra is kind of very attached to his position. So anybody who performs austerity, the first thought that Indra gets if they are performing very severe austerities is that anybody who is performing austerity is so that they can attain my kingdom and I may lose my position. This comes when there is lot of attachment to position. Then that attachment makes one feel insecure, and that insecurity um, makes one do foolish acts like Indra did many times. So Narayan Rishi were performing austerities, and Indra sent a lot of apsaras from heavenly planets um, to disturb and distract Narayan Rishi. So all the apsaras went there, and Narayan Rishi was absorbed. I mean, he's Narayan himself. He's absorbed. Then he opened his eyes, um, and then he saw, what is he absorbed in? He's absorbed in his own meditation. um, in his own meditation. Like if you see, it's bewildering. If you see Krishna, Sukadev Goswami says that when Krishna was living like a householder in Dwarka, Krishna would get up in the morning and he would meditate. He would meditate. Then this question was asked that whom does Krishna meditate on? And Srimad Bhagavatam described Krishna would meditate on himself. He will meditate on himself, because Krishna doesn't need to meditate. Why he is doing this? Because he was just setting an example for a conditioned soul who, because Krishna says whatever leaders do, common man follows. So Krishna would meditate on himself so that a common man knows, when they are living in a household life or any ashram, they get up in the morning and they meditate on Krishna. So our meditation on Krishna is through his name, because Nam, Roop, Guna, Leela, pastimes, qualities, form, everything, and the name, everything is within Krishna's name. Um, so Krishna would set his own example. So Narayan Rishi was meditating on himself. Mm, um, and these apsaras came to distract Narayan Rishi. And Narayan Rishi, obviously all knowing, he opened his eyes and he saw they are giving all these mundane poses to distract Narayan Rishi. Narayan Rishi saw all these apsaras dressed in not very Vedic way and giving these poses. And then I looked at them and then I smiled, like, like children playing. So Narayan Rishi smiled. So Narayan Rishi from his thigh created lot of apsaras from his thigh, and all these apsaras, they each and every one of them was more beautiful than all the apsaras sent by Indra. Some demigods came along with all the apsaras to distract Narayan Rishi. So Narayan Rishi created all the apsaras. This story is again from Shrimad Bhagavatam. So demigods, Narayan Rishi told the demigods that pick any one of them and give as a gift to Indra. And all the Apsaras were kind of ashamed by seeing the beauty of Apsaras created from the thigh of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the demigods picked one Apsara and they gifted her as a gift to Indra, because Indra is like, he likes to play with them because he also has these material emotions. Um, it is said that if you see spiritual position by spiritually, then Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master and pure devotees, spiritually they are way, way, way higher than Indra and all the demigods also. That's why it is said that one who worship the spiritual master, all the demigods are worshipped through the body of spiritual master. And when we sing this Guru Puja, we sing every day is worship of Guru. We say Ebejas Ghushuk Tribhuvana. Ghushuk Tribhuvana. Tribhuvana means the three words, means heavenly planet, hellish planet, and earthly planet. Ebejash, his fame is spread all over the three worlds. In other words, even the demigods bow down to the spiritual master who are completely pure at heart. Um, so this is the position of, and then we can get a glimpse of how fortunate we are to get in touch and accept somebody who is completely pure at heart, um, as our spiritual master, and how by his divine blessings we can also attain that position. I mean, the position of pure love for Krishna. So Narayan Rishi, others disappeared and merged back into the form of Narayan, and the Apsara who went with demigod is Urvashi. So Urvashi is like the most beautiful woman um, in the heavenly planets. And when Indra received a gift of Urvashi, Indra was actually ashamed that he tried to test Narayan Rishi. And there are more stories connected to the similar pastimes. Um, 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 Anyways, so okay, let me share one more thing. These apsaras, when these apsaras also have lust in their heart, and they also try to enjoy in heavenly planets. That's why it is said that people who want to enjoy and want to go to heavenly planet to enjoy, they are in a very degraded position, because their goal is simply sense gratification, and it's a great obstruction to one who want to develop pure love for Krishna. um, so when these apsaras, when they saw Narayan Rishi, they were very attracted, because Krishna, the word Krishna means all attractive. So he's very beautiful, and all his incarnations are very beautiful. When the sages saw Lord Ram, and the woman of Kaushal, and Ram Nami recently went, when they saw Lord Ram, they were instantly attracted to him. Even when the Supreme Lord comes in the incarnation of a boar, like if you see a boar is like a pig, sewer. If you see, the pig are not so beautiful, but when Hiranyaksha, even the demons, and when anybody who saw the boar incarnation, they were immediately supremely attracted to his beauty. So although the Lord may appear as boar, as fish, in different incarnation, the Lord always remain completely transcendental. His activities are not like a boar or a fish. He appears according to time, place, circumstances in different form, but the body is completely transcendental, and he always remains all attractive. So when these apsaras saw Nar Narayan Rishi, they were like so attracted to Nar Narayan. After this pastime, Sukadev Goswami says no living entity is free from lust like Nar Narayan Rishi, because Nar Narayan Rishi is Supreme Personality of Godhead. But they came as sages in this particular incarnation. Um, so these apsaras develop a desire that they were extremely attracted to Nar Narayan Rishi. After that, it is described that these apsaras perform lot of austerities to again receive the mercy of Narayan Rishi, because they were so attracted to him, and they became fully purified. Even in heavenly planet, it's possible, but it is rare. They became fully purified from the lust in their heart, the envy in their heart, and of everything in their heart. It's all good karma. Like if we have good karma, and if we are very attracted to a female body, and if we have lot of good karma, we become apsaras in heavenly planets, get a female body, and become very attractive. But still the soul is conditioned. So they did lot of austerities and devotional service, and they appeared as some of the gopis in Vrindavan. Narayan Rishi, when Krishna saw this desire in them. So these are all like great sages and people, and they all came. These are not like ordinary conditioned souls. They are like pure sages who appeared and who wanted um, um, to um, have a relationship with Krishna in a particular rasa, because Krishna is Rasaraj. All five kind of relationships are possible with Krishna. So these are very deep subject matters, but they are like PhD study of Krishna consciousness. But if we have a basic understanding that Krishna's activities and pastimes are not influenced by lust and other emotions, and his transcendental pastimes are divya, are transcendental, um, uh, um, mm, then we even will not have to take birth in this material world. Now, coming back to, so we discussed about lust, where it is, what it arises from contemplation. We discussed about the effects, and we saw how the knowledge is lost, the endeavor for self-realization is lost. So we saw some of the effects, and then we saw that Krishna is completely transcendental. Now, how to deal with lust. So it begins with change our mental models. So let's discuss something about mental model. uh, so Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains, thus the wise living entity's pure consciousness becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. So this is Krishna's words that living entity is pure, and living entity has an eternal enemy, not a friend, an eternal enemy. And this eternal enemy of the living entity is lust. Living entity, and this is what Krishna says, uh, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajoguna Samudbhava, Mahashano Mahapapma, Vidyanam Iha Vairina, where Krishna says that this is the all devouring enemy of every living entity. We were discussing last week that Srila Prabhupada said that if you are free from lust, you are 50% back home, back to God. 50% back home, back to God. Just if you are free from, Prabhupada said, you are free from desire for sex life. Because sex life is the most kind of entangling activity in this material world. And those who are free from a desire for sex life, they are 50% liberated. Prabhupada said 50%. So, this understanding that this desire is the eternal enemy, because birth after birth, the living entity is tormented by this enemy forever. Cycle of birth and death. Eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. Our mental model, like for a conditioned soul, is I want to satisfy my lusty desires, and that will bring me some happiness. And I am tormented by this desire. So by trying to satisfy this desire, I will feel happy. I will be satisfied by doing what these emotions wants me to do. I'll be satisfied. But so this is our mental model, that let me become satisfied by doing this. But Krishna's kind of, Krishna's words are exactly opposite. Krishna says these, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. So we think we can be satisfied by giving into it, and Krishna says that it is not possible. It will simply burn more. It will create more fire. It will create more passion. It will entangle more. It will entangle us more. Um, so we have to change our mental model, which is like I can become happy. But Krishna says no. You will simply become more entangled in this desire if you give into it. My spiritual master says that how Maya attacks is, Maya says, one more time, let me give in to this desire of lusty desire. One more time, one last time. But you give in one more time, and then it further fuels the desire, and we become more entangled. One more last time. And then we become further entangled. One more last time. And that's how the living entity is perpetually kept in the cycle of birth and death. These desires are not going to go away. Like, some people, they're like Naga Babas, and there are some other people. They say that you enjoy, 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 and after you have sufficiently enjoyed, um, these desires will go away. But these are not supported by Krishna's words. Krishna says, the more it's a all-devouring enemy, the more you enjoy, it will further in the fire and the passion will further increase. And then, if we enjoy a lot in this life, in our next life, we will be like too much affected. And if we have such desires today, then we should know it's because of my past karma, because I have given into these desires in my previous life. That's why I have these desires strongly in my life. Now, what do I do if I have these desires? Um, Krishna says, so when we have these material desires, like material attachments, and if material attachments are too much in us, then it's considered a low birth. When Krishna says, Shudra, anybody can, um, um, every even if a person is low born, if he takes shelter of me, he will come to me. because Krishna consciousness is all pure. Krishna consciousness is hope giving for any living entity. As long as the living entity is willing to take it up seriously, it doesn't matter our previous conditioning, it doesn't matter our previous attachments. And Krishna says, so having taken birth in this life, engage in my devotional service. Because if we engage in devotional service of Krishna, no matter what is our previous, it's called samskar. Our attachments are coming from our samskar, which is like what we have done in the past. Accordingly, that much fire we will have in this life. Everything will go away. Why? Because Krishna is all pure. Uh, uh, so this is like changing our mental models. Now there is there are so many stories. There is story of King Yayati and Devyayani, frustrated after enjoying for thousands of years. So probably I will share the story in brief. These are all stories from Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why I really request devotees to systematically study Bhagavad Gita, and once, at least once, cover Bhagavad Gita word to word, page by page. There are like, just before this call, I was talking to one family, and this girl, newly married, husband wife. So I was talking to them, and she chants like 4 rounds. Just got married and very new to Krishna consciousness. Um, but she heard Bhagavad Gita discussions. Okay. She heard Bhagavad Gita discussion. She completed Bhagavad Gita in discussion. Why? So I was talking to her and I asked her. She's in her college. She's doing college right now here. So I asked her, um, "Have you read Bhagavad Gita from beginning to end?" And she said, "Not really, Prabhuji." I said, "Okay." So her exams are getting over. I think next week is her last exam. So she has 4 months vacation. So I said, how about we make a goal of reading Bhagavad Gita in 4 months? So I was explaining to her, Bhagavad Gita has 700 verses. 4 months means 120 days. So 700 by 120 is like 6 verse, maybe. Maybe 5 or 6 verse, whatever. Yeah, 6 verse, 6 verse. So I said, if you read 6 verse every day and you do it for 4 months, at the end of 4 months, you have read personally Bhagavad Gita in entirety. Otherwise, you have spent 2 3 years and you still haven't read Bhagavad Gita. So why don't you make a goal of reading only 6 verses every day? By 4 months, before your next semester starts, you are done with Gita. So one should have goals. See, we make so many goals in our life. I want to become like this. I want this position in my job. I want this much hike every year. So we have so many goals, but they are material goals, and they are actually entangling to us. So why don't we make spiritual goals? So if you make a goal like, see, it's all, um, make make some kind of, make some determination, bring some determination about your spiritual life, and then act on it. It's simple. It's just a matter of you making a decision for yourself. Because if somebody tells you, now you will not be inspired. But if it comes from within you, then you will do it. So at some point of time, we all have to take responsibility of our own spiritual life. So you take responsibility of your own spiritual life. Don't depend on anyone, but you take your own responsibility if it comes from within you. And if you just read 5 6 verse every day, by the end of 4 months, your Bhagavad Gita is done. And once you're done with Bhagavad Gita, then go to Bhagavatam. See, spiritual life is very relishing. We all want to relish Krishna consciousness. That gives so much peace and so much satisfaction to the heart. So don't obstruct yourself to make progress. Please try to make progress. Krishna is waiting for us. Krishna is willing to give himself to us. That's what Krishna wants us. Um, um, but Krishna is waiting. Like one devotee this comes in Brihad Bhagavatam by Sanatan Goswami. One devotee, Gop Kumar, he was inspired by Krishna consciousness, but then he was deviated by yoga, by meditation, and by other things. And he went all over the universe, even Brahma Loka, Siddha Loka, Vaikuntha planet, and he traveled all over, and just going in a few lives here and there, and then finally he got a strong conviction in Vrindavan, and he did bhajan, and he went back to Krishna. And then he went back to Goloka. This is very long story in very short. Sometime we discuss a bigger version of this story. So he went to Goloka, and Krishna came running. And Gop Kumar, when he saw Krishna, his heart fully manifested in his heart, and he started running. And Krishna is running from that side, and Gop Kumar is running from this side, and they both hugged each other, and they rolled in the ground, and they were rolling, covered with Chintamani dust. And all the friends of Krishna were surprised, like, who is this boy? Who is this new friend? And Krishna was rolling, and Krishna had tears in his eyes. He got up while embracing with tears in his eyes, and Krishna told Gop Kumar that, why did you make me wait so long? I was waiting for you. Um, um, so if we take some concrete steps, especially, along with chanting, I know everyone in this room is chanting, along with chanting, um, okay, a goal-based progress. At this point of time, let's not practice Krishna consciousness based on inspiration. Let's practice Krishna consciousness based on goal. If you do that, inspiration will come. Inspiration will come. We have to take the first step, because inspiration comes also as we progress. Inspiration will grow. But at this point of time, it's more like, goal based practice. Okay, I'll chant one round to begin with, um, or I will chant 2 rounds, or I will chant 4 rounds. Make a small goal for the pleasure of Krishna. You decide how much time you can give for Krishna. Start small, um, and if you are chanting 8 round, 10 round, then do little more. Don't be complacent. Do little more, um, um, and have some reading in your life. Have some reading on a regular basis, please. No matter what happens, don't give up reading. If you give up reading Srila Prabhupada books, you will find yourself that you are becoming weaker. You will become weak. um, I have experienced, many devotees have told me, we don't realize the value of reading until we stop reading. Then we realize that I'm feeling some vacancy in my heart now. I'm not able to connect that much. So please don't give up reading. Otherwise, material consciousness will kick in. The matter of fact is, um, we are conditioned souls. We have a material mind, and we have material intelligence, and Maya is very powerful. That's a fact. So when we go out, we are absorbed in many attachments we see, and so many desires develop. And this material world is like, forest fire. So it will keep your heart burning with anxieties, burning with desires, lamentation, hankering, so many emotions. These are all material emotions, and they will churn your heart in a negative way. And you will be like completely lost, like any materialistic person. You will be completely lost in those emotions also. So even if you're chanting, it's not going to help you, because you are chanting, mind may find it peaceful, but your intellect is not able to reason out. Your intellect is not able to deal with your own emotions, and we are lost in our own mental models, and we don't know how to come out of it. But then when you read Bhagavad Gita, it's like, a fresh opening, a different outlook, a transcendental vision. So don't think that now I know Krishna consciousness, so I don't need to read, I have an understanding. Because the matter of fact is, we are conditioned souls. And Maya is too powerful. Maya is constantly acting on our desires, and envy will come, ego will come, pride will come, lust will come, um, um, all these emotions will kind of torture us. And we are kind of, there is a hallucination which is created. We are deeply absorbed in all those emotions and we don't realize our conditioned state. That's how Maya works. We think I am doing good, everything is going normal, and then it's only after few weeks or few months or sometimes it take few years that we realize actually I'm lost, and now I'm lost far way back. That's why there are train tracks. They are like equidistant, but if there is even a millimeter increase in the distance of a train track anywhere, after 100 miles, the train track will be wide enough and the train will meet an accident. So train tracks are like, up to micrometers, they are kept at the same distance. So these are, so slight deviation in the beginning will lead to fall down after a long distance. So likewise, these when they are building train tracks, they make sure there is no deviation. So this is recommendation of Krishna, this process of devotional service. Try your best that we don't deviate from it, because small deviation today, we will not see the difference today, but after 1 year we will see my consciousness has nosedived down, and I'm not experiencing anything now. Where is that Krishna consciousness? Why? It's our mistake. We didn't pay attention to it. Um, so small deviation means I'm reading and I stop reading, or whether any kind of devotional service, these are deviations. So don't deviate. Try to read every day in a systematic manner, not like chapter 13 I read, chapter 18 I read, now I read chapter 7. So try read in a systematic way, and one by one cover. See, these are, you may say that I repeat so many times because I have witnessed so many cases, and whatever I'm sharing. See, either you follow what is the right thing, or history repeats itself. So why I'm sharing? Because I care for all of you, because I want you all to make progress. uh, and then come to Bhagavatam. Why I shared all these things is, please come to reading Shrimad Bhagavatam. Your life will change. Once you start reading Shrimad Bhagavatam personally, you will have so much divinity in your life. um, so this particular, everything is there in Shrimad Bhagavatam. It's not there. Bhagavad Gita has no stories, has no examples. It's philosophy. It's extremely crucial and important. But then these stories will give, like, full on realizations. So there is a story of King Yayati and Devayani. So King Yayati was a king, and what happened? There was um, a, a daughter of um, a daughter of a king, daughter of the king. Um, 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 Her name was, okay. So there was a daughter of the king, and there was a daughter of a spiritual teacher. Well, it's a long story. In short, there was one girl Devayani, and there was one girl Sumishta. Sumishta. Um, um, so they both didn't really like each other much. Sometimes it happens in ladies group that two ladies don't like each other. So Sumishta and Devayani and many other friends out there, they all went to take bath by the river. So as they were taking bath, Sumishta was became kind of, she was growing some negativity towards Devayani. So she kind of stole the clothes of Devayani and did something like that. And when Devayani came out, she saw that her clothes are not there, and Sumisha took it, and she became very angry. She picked up a quarrel, and Sumishta picked up the quarrel, and Sumishta pushed Devayani into the well, and Devayani fell down into the well, and Devayani was without clothes. And then Sumishna and her friends, they left, and Devyani was inside the well. She was alive. She was not hurt because there was water, but she was without clothes, and she started crying out for help, 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 help. And at that time, one king was walking by. His name was King Yayati, and when he heard help, 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 he looked into the well, and there was one girl without clothes. This is like Devayani. So he helped her come out of it, but because he has seen her in that way, it ended up that they both became attracted to each other, and they both got married. They both got married. Um, and their father, the king, and the guru. Um, so um, Devyani, um, um, father was the guru. Devyani was a daughter of a brahmana, so he was a very strong kind of, a very strong brahmana. So the king daughter was Sumishta. Um, so the king feared when he came to know that this brahmana's daughter, my daughter threw brahmana's daughter into the well. He feared. Um, so he was afraid of the brahmana's curse. So Devayani went and she cried in front of her father, and the father was about to curse. In the meantime, king came, and this thing happened. And Devayani said that I want to make Sumishta as my servant when I get married. So it so happened that Yayati went with Devayani, and they both were married. And Sumishta, although the daughter of a king, went as a servant only, as a servant. This is actually a very very long story. I don't know to how much detail we can go. Um, um, but after that, because King Yayati had lot of lusty desires in his heart, he was kind of burning with lusty desires, and he was not satisfied with simply uniting with Devayani. So at one point of time, he even united with Sumishta, and Devayani father came to know. And Devayani left home when she came to know. She was very angry because she didn't like Sumishta. This is like, it seems like a material story. It seems like a movie, but it will not capture the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam unless there is pure devotion in that. And I will come to that point. So um, 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 this King Yayati, um, he ran because he was also afraid of Brahmana's curse. So he ran to bring Devayani back, and Devayani went to this Brahmana and cried and told about Sumishta and Yayati. Yayati was very afraid, and the Brahmana, he cursed Yayati that because you have so many lusty desires and you acted in this way against my daughter's will, I cursed you to become old. Now this was just a background to um, give us a better understanding. So Yayati immediately became a very old man. When you are old, then you cannot enjoy sex life. So Yayati became a very old man, and Yayati became very distressed. And Yayati begged forgiveness from Devayani. He begged forgiveness from his father, the Brahmana father, and they both showed compassion on Yayati. And they said, "Well, we have already cursed, so you will remain very old. But I give you a benediction that you can exchange your youth with your son. I mean, your old age with your son. So your son will become old, and you can take his youth." So King Yayati begged, because this is what sex life does to one. It makes you literally a beggar. When you have no control over your senses, it makes you a beggar. So Yayati begged his son that I am not satisfied. Although he enjoyed to his fullest extent, Yayati was still the realization did not come, and he said, "I want to enjoy more. It's not sufficient enjoyment for me." So one of the sons rejected him, but one of the son, Puru, he kind of agreed to his father's request, and they both exchanged. So the son became a very old man, and he again got the youth, and then he again enjoyed with Devayani, and many others for many years, many years. It is described thousands of years, because Treta Yuga, Satya Yuga, they have very long life. And kings kind of, the culture was little different than Kali Yuga. So uh, King Yayati, he enjoyed many years, and then after thousands of years he got that realization that actually I have become the servant of my senses, and I'm trying to satisfy myself since thousands of years and trying to enjoy all kind of pleasure coming from sex life. I don't know how many times a day and every day and for how many thousands of years. And then Yayati came to the realization that actually I'm not satisfied, and he was becoming more and more in anxiety and more entangled and more kind of exhausted. um, and this realization came, and Yayati told the story to Devayani, his wife. And Yayati told that there was a deer. It's like it's a very long past time. All comes in Shrimad Bhagavatam. So Yayati said that there was a deer, my dear wife, and there was a female deer, and female deer was thrown by her friend into a well without cloth. So this male deer was very attracted to the female deer, and Devayani is listening. Yes, yes. So Devayani could not relate that Yayati is telling about himself with Devayani in the form of a deer. And then Yayati said, and this male deer and the female deer got married to male deer, but the female deer father was very powerful, was a very powerful deer. His words would become true. He was a sage, like that. And then um, this male deer once mated with a friend of the female deer, who did not have a good relationship with female deer. And this male deer was cursed to become old. So likewise, then Devayati understood, and then Yayati said this male deer enjoyed for thousands of years, and then male deer was still not satisfied. So at this point of time, when he was miserable and suffering, he came to the realization that kings, they are naturally devotees of the Lord. Then he turned to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, praying that what should I do? I'm exhausted and I'm not happy. Although I tried my level best to attain happiness, I'm not happy. And just in that devotion he expressed to the Lord, just that little devotion he expressed, he felt lot of satisfaction within his heart, something that he has not experienced for thousands of years of enjoyment. He felt so much divinity in his heart. And he also tried to um, preach to his wife to turn towards the Supreme Lord, because um, there is no such pleasure in this material world. I mean, it's simply entangled. See, an intelligent man will hear from Krishna, from Bhagavad Gita, and will understand that this desire will keep burning like a fire, and Krishna says it is never satisfied. It is never satisfied. It burns like fire and it entangles the living entity. Um, 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 just like putting fuel to fire, and the living entity becomes further and further entangled. So, intelligent person will hear and he will understand. So we will read Nectar of Instruction. Nectar of Instruction says there are four kind of people. Some are very intelligent people. Who are very intelligent people? They hear and they learn from just by hearing about others. They hear and they learn. Then there are second, less intelligent people. They don't hear and learn, but they see and learn. They see that this person was enjoying so much and he's not happy. There is a verse, and the sages says that my mind tells me to enjoy, and I'll be happy by enjoying. And the experience is exactly the opposite. What I'm seeing is those who are enjoying, they are not happy. And my mind says, if I enjoy, I'll be happy. So my experience are contradicting. What I'm seeing is contradicting with what mind is presenting to me. So there is this verse comes in ninth canto by sages. So this is like those who don't listen just by hearing, and that we can never be satisfied, we'll be entangled, and at some point of time we will be frustrated. Many people, I mean, I hear so many so many times so many things. uh, uh, um, so this um, this wrong mental model is there that I can be satisfied, I can become happy in this material world. But the nature of fact is only Krishna consciousness can give us satisfaction. This is something that either we realize after getting frustrated for hundreds of years, the way King Yati realized, or you realize by hearing about it. Choice is yours. But at some point of time, if not in this life, in some other life, you have to come to this realization. But Krishna says, Devhadi Dukhalya Mashashvatam. You try to enjoy, all you get out of it is frustration. Like recently, one one devotee got married, and he was living in a I was just speaking to this another family yesterday. This Prabhu got married. He got married like 2 months back, and he is living in a devotee's family. It's like a joint family. um, so he was telling me, Prabhuji, I'm revealing my heart to. He is new devotee, but he chants 16 rounds, but he does not have many realizations. So he said, Prabhuji, I just got married, and my family's sons and kids, they come to our room, and we kind of, we have this, we just got married, we want to enjoy, and these kids come in our room and we are not able to enjoy. um, and we want to separate from this joint family, we want to live separately so we can have our own space, so we can enjoy. Well, okay, he does not have many realization, he's a neophyte devotee, and he has a wrong mental model that he can actually enjoy. And I didn't say anything because I know that he was not ready to listen the truth. But the matter of fact is, although he has heard Bhagavad Gita, he has come to 16 rounds, but realizations have not come yet. It's a theoretical, and Krishna consciousness is theory for him. Krishna consciousness, if you just stay in the boat of Krishna consciousness, you will get realization. But the thing is, how soon you want to make progress. And another thing is, how intelligent are you? So Bhakti Upadeshamrita explains four kind of intelligence. Second kind of intelligence, they they see that actually people are who are trying to enjoy sex life, they are not happy. Then how can I be happy? Then but those who are not class intelligent, they are third class intelligent. Third class intelligent people, they actually experience it, and they become miserable at certain point of time, and they realize actually this material world is like this only. It leads to frustration. There is temporary enjoyment, but it leads to frustration. They come to their own realization that every happiness is coupled with misery. So I'm trying to become happy, but I'm getting a lot of misery along with it. So overall, it's making my life miserable. Overall, it's giving me so much anxiety and so much misery. Fourth class intelligent, they go, they experience, they suffer, and they want to experience more, and they suffer, and they want to experience more, and they suffer, and they don't learn, and they don't learn. So most of the people in this world is fourth class intelligent, very less intelligent people. So based on how intelligent we are, if you read Shrimad Bhagavatam will affect your mental models, your illusioned mental models. Like, we have been living life, and we this is like a rat race. In rat race, we think that actually I can enjoy. The whole world is running after these things. I should have also run. This is called rat race. One rat is running and falling into the ditch, and another rat thinks, there he is running. I should also run. There is something good out there, and everybody starts running. This is called rat race. Rat race people, they don't use their intellect, and even if their experiences are kind of opposite to what they are running after, they kind of struggle to become happy in some other ways, but the resultant is continuous misery, but still they don't realize unless one receives Krishna's mercy, and one experience Krishna within one's heart. This is very, very so devotees are very intelligent. Whether they are married or they are don't married, they live a saintly life. Once they realize, they live a saintly life. When you live a saintly life, Srila Prabhupada said there is no difference between a brahmachari, between a sannyasi, between a grahastha. Prabhupada said there is no difference as long as we live a Krishna conscious saintly life. Because Krishna consciousness not dependent upon ashram. Krishna consciousness depend upon sincerity, realizations. So Yayati, after thousands of years of enjoyment, when he turned little bit towards Krishna, he felt a deep satisfaction, and he felt, wow, I have enjoyed all kind of happiness multiple times, but I was only getting misery after turning towards Krishna. I am feeling so much divinity in his heart, and he preached to Devayani. It is said, Yayati then he again exchanged his youth with his son and became old. So Yati became very old. He has no more desire. He got realized. He took complete shelter of Krishna, and the son again got back the youth. Because Yati was very grateful to the son, he made that son. He had four sons. Three rejected him, one. So the fourth son, who actually surrendered to his father, he made him the king of the planet. He was the king of planet, of the whole planet. So he made him the king, and he and Devayani, they both live a saintly life. And it is said in Shrimad Bhagavatam, he attained the lotus feet of Krishna and went back home, back to Godhead. So Shrimad Bhagavatam does not speak about mundane stories. It may seem like when we hear that, what kind of story is this? Is this a Bhagavatam class? But if it was not relevant, Sukadev Goswami, who is a pure devotee of Krishna, liberated soul, will not take the pain to speak about King Yayati in Shrimad Bhagavatam, especially when Parikshit Maharaj has only 7 days to live. He's at the verge of death. Um, Sukadev Goswami will not bring Yayati in Shrimad Bhagavatam. Every story that comes in Shrimad Bhagavatam is for us to learn. See, that's how Bhagavad Gita and Shrimad Bhagavatam, they complement each other. Bhagavad Gita says it is, Krishna says it is never satisfied, burns like fire, but we will not understand it. We will say, yeah, it makes sense, yeah. But then when you hear about King Yayati, thousands of years of pleasure and frustrated, then you say, actually, Krishna said that. So it gives a lot more weight to what Krishna said. To what Krishna said. So Bhagavatam is a practical application of Gita. That's why we should first read Bhagavad Gita. We should have an understanding, a clarity, and then we should go to Bhagavatam and we should read Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam only first like 2 3 chapters, a lot of philosophy. So it feels like what is, but once you come to the stories, you should know Bhagavatam is a mine of gold. I mean, which fool will not go to the mine of gold? I mean, gold is so expensive. To get a little earring of gold, it's so difficult. What about the mine of gold? So Bhagavatam is a mine of gold, and it's there. You have access. So let's dive into it. Let's go to it, and you know, get some, by hearing about Yayati, we get some realizations. And keep reading, and it will protect your Krishna consciousness. Then there is another story of Pingala. I mean, there are so many stories in Bhagavatam about um, sex life cannot bring happiness. If it is not an important topic, then in fact, one time Srila Prabhupada said, every day discuss about sex life. Prabhupada said, why? All devouring enemy. All devouring enemy. It's a constant troublemaker for a conditioned soul. But then Srimad Bhagavatam gives us strength, um, breaks our faith on illusion. You know, if we are not hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, then our mind and intellect will be captured. Krishna says lust is a sitting place of mind, intelligence, and senses. If the enemy has captured us thoroughly within us, what is our hope? You know, we cannot free ourselves because we are completely conditioned by these emotions. We are like, our hands and legs are tied, so we have no freedom. We are simply flown away. So we need external help. That external help comes from association of pure devotees, who gives us a transcendental vision. That association of pure devotees is Srimad Bhagavatam. We are associating with Srila Prabhupada, and we are associating with Sukadev Goswami. We are associating with Parikshit Maharaj. They are all pure devotees. When we are reading Bhagavad Gita, we are associating with Krishna. Prabhupada said, hearing Bhagavad Gita is as if Krishna is directly speaking to you, because the words are the same. The words are the same as spoken by the great Sukadev Goswami and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So that opportunity is there with us. Just grab this. So there is this story of Pingala. Pingala was a prostitute, and she would earn by sex life, and she would stand outside and would dress herself in a very revealing way, and she would keep a board with herself, and as people would walk by, she would contemplate, if this man will give me happiness, maybe, oh, this man left, maybe this next man will give me happiness, oh, this man left, maybe this next man will give me happiness. So likewise, she was this again comes in Bhagavatam is mine of story, story after story, story after story. From different story you learn different things, but since this is the seminar on lust, we are taking only those stories, and these stories are so many. It's just we are taking a small snippet of those stories. So Pingala, she did not get a customer today, so she was very frustrated. uh, she was in great longing to enjoy. At the same time, that was her living also. So the day passed. She slept in great anxiety, in great frustration, because unfulfilled hankering and unfulfilled desire, Krishna says, become brings krodha. Next day again, night came, and she worn in a very beautiful dress with lot of ornamentation and shingar, and stand outside and smiling at every customer, thinking that this customer will give me some pleasure today. Oh no, he passed away, he left. Maybe this next customer, maybe this next customer. It kept on happening. This was actually Krishna's mercy on Pingala. At one point of time, Pingla was very frustrated. Same. So frustrated after being being unable to find a recipient. And Pingla was very frustrated. And at some point of time, she again turned to Krishna, and she resolved, I'm not going to ask for any man in this material world who are like nonsense, with hairs on their body, and um, um, with contaminated consciousness. I will i now i only want Krishna. I will not be satisfied with anybody other than the only male, the self same Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Pingla turned towards Krishna, and although she was very frustrated from her repeated attempts to enjoy, and because she was not able to get the enjoyment she was deriving for, she was repeatedly frustrated. It brought her the realization that I'm trying to run behind happiness and it's only giving frustration. Let me turn towards the Supreme Lord. They have their Sukriti from their previous lives. That's why they could capture the period of Srimad Bhagavatam. And when she turned to Krishna, she felt such divinity in her heart. And she felt herself so satisfied, so joyful, so happy, as if like never before. And her conviction grew, and she further took shelter of Krishna and further took shelter of Krishna. And because Krishna is all pure, Pingala heart became purified. Likewise, Jayati and Devayani, although full of material desires, being the king, controlling mode of passion, but when they took shelter of Krishna, that divinity that they were experiencing, the nourishment they were experiencing within their heart, that divinity made them get rid of all anarthas. Likewise, Pingla also got rid of all the anarthas. She became a pure devotee of Krishna, and that's why they capture the page of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is another story. There are actually more stories, but maybe this is the last story I will share. King Pururava and Urvashi. Now we heard about Urvashi. So Urvashi was these are all very long stories. Uh, so Urvashi was mm, most beautiful Apsara of Indra, um, mm, created by Nar Narayan Rishi. And one time, now they live in heavenly planets. Sometimes they come on earthly planet, but it is described in Kali Yuga Demigods don't come to earthly planet because the age is too degraded. Yet this age is worshipped because simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Krishna Kirtan, one can go back home, back to God. And that's why this age is worshipped. But the qualities of this age, quarrel, hypocrisy, and Manda Sumanta Mitra Mat Manda Bhagya Upadrita, people are always disturbed, people are unfortunate, people are misguided, people don't know what to do, what not to do, and simply too absorbed in materialistic desires. So these are the effects of Kali on us. Of course, Maya and Kali together, they capture us. Satya Yuga, people, all the people are devotees, are sages. Treta Yuga, almost all. Dwapar Yuga also, but Kali Yuga, in the beginning, only 25% dharma remains, and Prabhupada said at this point of time 99% dharma is lost. So imagine the situation, and we are living in this environment. Environment is surcharged with sense gratification, and we are associating with that environment, so kind of, that will influence us unless we are very well protected by association of devotees, by Srila Prabhupada books, by the medium of the holy names of the Lord. This environment is going to affect us. So somehow I'm thinking this is another long story, but in short, Pururava saw Urvashi, became very, very attracted. Urvashi also became very attracted to Pururava, and Pururava proposed to Urvashi that I have not seen anyone as beautiful as yourself. Will you marry me? And Urvashi also, he was a king, he was very powerful, very successful, um, um, very, very handsome and good looking. So Urvashi also agreed to Pururava, but this story is little more detailed. But Urvashi put uh, two conditions to Pururava. Urvashi said, I will bring my lambs. She has, like, people here have cats and dogs as pets. So Urvashi has lambs as pet. So um, Urvashi told Pururava that I will stay with you as long as you take care of my lambs. And another thing is that I'm a cultured woman, so I should not see you without clothes. If I see you without clothes, I mean, when we are in the dead of a night in the room enjoying, then okay, because I don't see you, but I will enjoy with you. But I should not see you with my eyes without clothes. Otherwise, I will leave you because we are cultured women from heavenly planets. And she also said, I will eat food only cooked in ghee. So, imagine these stories are coming in Shrimad Bhagavatam. Shrimad Bhagavatam, one devotee says Shrimad Bhagavatam has everything. Shrimad Bhagavatam, there is no emotions that are not there in Shrimad Bhagavatam. Sometime recently, my roommate Shamkishore Prabhu, he was reading something which was very difficult to read, and he said, Prabhu, this is not good for brahmacharis to read. That is also there in Shrimad Bhagavatam. But the end is pure devotion to Krishna. It's pure Bhagavad Katha. But unless we hear, like Ishopanishad say, we should hear about Asat and we should hear about Sat simultaneously. By hearing these stories, we relate to ourselves, and then we realize that just like they were frustrated, I will also be frustrated. So, and just like they turn to Krishna, let me turn to Krishna, let me be intelligent. Let me learn from their experience and let me be intelligent. That's the purpose of Sukadev Goswami describing these stories. So they got married, and then Indra was kind of feeling little separation from Urvashi. Very short, he sent the demigods. The demigods came and stole the lamb, and Urvashi kind of chastised Pururava. You are the king. You have no power. You are Nupunsak. They took my lambs, and you are doing nothing. And she chastised. And being a male with the male ego, he was like, um, how can she say? And then he ran away. He forgot to wear the clothes, and he started chasing, and he was without clothes. And Urvashi saw, and she became further frustrated, and she disappeared. And Pururava came back, and he realized that, but then Urvashi disappeared, but because of the attachment, he was miserable. He waited. He prayed, he did requested some brahmanas to do some sacrifice so that he can again have Urvashi as her husband. And then um, 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 mm, at one point of time, it so happened that Urvashi, through all the sacrifices, Urvashi said, I will come and I will spend one night with you in a year. So Pururava would wait for the whole day, and Urvashi would come and he will feel very happy, and Urvashi would leave next day morning, and Pururava will be in pools of suffering, and then he has to wait for one more year, and great, great frustration. And then he again turned to Krishna and felt divinity in his heart, um, and then um, his heart became purified. So these are just some of the stories. Shrimad Bhagavatam has many such stories. Um, that the actual satisfaction and the actual divinity lies in the lotus feet of Krishna, and you all have experienced that. Otherwise we would not be in the same room even after 1 2 years, even after discussing Bhagavad Gita and the basics of Bhagavatam, and we are still together and we are still discussing Krishna Katha, is because you have some realizations, you have some experience. But rest assured, make progress. Go to the next level, and then go to the next level, and then go to the next level. The path is long, the time is short, the life is short, and path is long. Okay, so let's continue dealing with lust. Now, how do we come out of it? Now, we are coming to some of the solutions. Uh, Nonetheless, we hear from the stories. Um, um, we see how when they turned to Krishna, then only they felt real satisfaction in their heart. Till that, it was just a rat race with a wrong, illusory mental model that I can enjoy in this material world. And they were running and they got realization. So we not having not yet been gone to the extreme stage, may still have desires, may have an understanding this is not good for me, but the emotions remains in our heart. Now, what do I do? Is so the first solution is service. This is something Srila Prabhupada mentions in Bhagavad Gita in the purport. Um, mm, the senses require real engagements, and if they are not engaged in the transcendent loving service of the Lord, they will certainly seek engagement in the service of materialism. So senses require engagement. Either we are engaged in sense gratification or we are engaged in Krishna's service. There is no third option. There is no third option. Either we are serving Krishna or we are serving Maya. Prabhupada used this statement many times. Either you are serving Krishna or you are serving Maya. So senses needs engagement. My spiritual master says free time is not a blessing, free time is a curse. If you think now I'm too busy serving Krishna, now I will have free time. The moment you have some free time, your mind will go towards sense gratification. So there has to be service. When when it is described, when we use our eyes to look at the beautiful form of Krishna, threefold bended form. Krishna playing flute, and he has three curves, one at the neck, one at the hips, and one in the legs. So he has like three curves. So he's called threefold bended form. So when that beautiful form of Krishna playing flute, when we look, eyes become purified. um, when we use our body in cleaning the temple, cleaning the pots, in any service of Krishna, the body becomes purified. When we walk to the temple, and when we visit the holy places, legs becomes purified. um, Likewise, when we embrace devotees, the sense of touch becomes purified because it's purely in goodness. So likewise, when we eat Krishna prasadam and chant Krishna's name, the tongue becomes purified. When we hear Krishna katha, the ears become purified. So we have to expose ourselves to Krishna. This is called serving Krishna. We serve Krishna through our tongue, through our eyes, through our ears. Right now we are serving Krishna. It's not that serving Krishna happens only in the temple, but yes, if we are not serving the Lord physically, sense desires will be there, because body needs to be engaged, hands needs to be engaged, legs needs to be engaged, eyes needs to be engaged, nose needs to be engaged, ears needs to be engaged. Otherwise, they'll be engaged in service of Maya. That's a fact. So this is, Srila Prabhupada says, the senses requires real engagements. I mean, senses are always engaged. Senses cannot be free. Now you have a choice where you engage your senses, and that choice is up to you. You have a free will. You either choose Krishna or you choose Maya. There is no in middle. There is no in middle. So Prabhupada says senses requires real engagement, and if they are not engaged in the transcendent loving service of the Lord, they will certainly seek engagement in the service of materialism. Like we have uh, um, um, I think um, Sunil Prabhu and Gayatri Mataji here. We have Maipal Prabhu, Sushmita Mataji. We have Shirisha Mataji. Um, uh, and I didn't see the names. I don't know who else is there. Um, um, I only see the presentation. But nonetheless, um, um, they are actually very good friends of mine and very inspiring to me, because they're always engaged in seva. They're always trying to be Krishna conscious. Always. Any free time, if you call them, you will find out that they are serving. They are an exemplary life of seva. So we have such association. Just having that association itself, we should consider very fortunate. I feel myself very fortunate to have their association, because they are setting a very good example for me to follow. Always trying to make progress in Krishna consciousness. And these people, if we follow their footsteps, these people, I'm sure they are very quickly progressing towards the path of love of God. And these anarthas, without, see, time will pass. Time is not going to stop. Time lost is never going to come back. Time will pass. You have a choice how to engage the time. Either we engage the time like King Yayati, like Pingala, like Pururava, or we engage the time like saints, like sages. Choice is ours. Choice is ours. Results will be different. Results, our future, will depend upon our choices today. Those who are engaging in Krishna consciousness, you will see their life will become more and more divine. You will see now. Problems are there. Nature of this material world is problems. Problems will be there, and it's not easy to make progress. I'm not denying that, but the path is perfect. It takes time. That's why Rupa Goswami says, with determination you serve, and you be patient. You be patient because it's like it won't happen that okay, now I'm doing service, now tomorrow where is my love of God? Tomorrow I should be in ecstasy. It won't happen. It will happen to the extent the heart becomes purified. Um, if you associate closely with devotees who are very sincere and sincerely engaged in serving Krishna, you will develop those desires also. So this is highly um, seeked after. So the senses requires real engagement, and we want to serve Krishna. Krishna now, Krishna does not need anyone's service, so we should be clear with that. Uh, we need Krishna's service. I mean, whether you come to temple or not, Krishna's service will continue. Nothing will stop whether you are there or not. But you are the one who is going to get benefited. It's for yourself that you want to serve Krishna. Of course, this is a lower consciousness. Higher consciousness is you want to serve Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. But just I'm saying the previous lower consciousness statement just to appeal to our minds and intellects, that don't think, of course Krishna wants our service. Krishna is hungry for our love. That's a real fact. That's a great consciousness. But just to appeal to our material intellect, I'm sharing this statement that we need Krishna. Krishna's service will not stop. Whether you come or you don't come, you serve or you don't serve, Krishna will very happily be served, because Krishna has unlimited servants. But if we get an opportunity to serve Krishna, that's Krishna's great mercy on us. That's our great fortune. How do we get that? You don't have to do anything, but you have to desire. You just desire. I also want to serve Krishna. My situation is not allowing, the situation outside is not good, that's all right. Just keep on intensifying your desire. If there is fear, if there is other factors, okay, just intensify your desire. Wait for things to go right, but within your heart, please desire, I really want to serve Krishna. I want to give my life, body, soul with full energy. Anywhere I get to serve Krishna, I want to serve Krishna. I want to surrender to Krishna. Then if that desire is there, you should know that desire, coming of that desire, is itself Krishna's mercy. Okay. Liquidity is dharma of water. Just like water, it's natural for what? Oh, I just realized the time is 6:40. So probably we will stop here and we begin next week. Now, does anyone has any question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandavat.
Then
I have question.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Um, Reading Srimad Bhagavatam Prabhuji, like is there any meaning that like for book itself, uh, form of Krishna, do we have to only read book or like we can read online also Prabhuji in case?
Yeah, online is also great. I mean, honestly, I read all the books over phone only, because many times if I'm traveling or I won't be at one place, and if you have the opportunity to read books, and if you, it depends, it's a personal choice. I know devotees, they like more reading in books, they get a good feel of it, and I know devotees, they find it more convenient. But the idea is, in any ways, if you can absorb yourself in reading and understanding Shrimad Bhagavatam, we are good.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. It is also recommended to have a set of Shrimad Bhagavatam in our home, because it purifies our home, and Shrimad Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna. Shrimad Bhagavatam non-different from Krishna. It says that Krishna disappeared and Shrimad Bhagavatam descended. Krishna ascended back to Goloka and Srimad Bhagavatam descended for the people in this age of Kali. So Srimad Bhagavatam can be worshipped. So having a set of Srimad Bhagavatam at home. In fact, one Srila Prabhupada did mention that all my um, disciples and all my well-wishers and followers should have a set of Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita in their homes. um, um, Having those books will impel us to read, and it brings positive vibration. Just by seeing them, you remember Bhagavatam. So that's very nice. Okay, more questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. This is
Srinivas Prabhu, Dhanvat Pranam Prabhu.
you mentioned Lord Sri Krishna in threefold bending form. Is there
Yes.
significance for that threefold? Prabhu?
He has three folds, means he has three places he's curved, like through the neck, because he's like this, like
Right,
this,
right.
like this. So one is at the neck, one is at the hips. So if you see, he's like this,
Yeah, yeah.
and one is at the legs. If you see, his legs is like this.
Right, yeah.
So that's why he's called. He has three folds in his flute playing,
Yeah.
and if you meditate on this threefold bended form, your heart will be enchanted by him. Rupa Goswami says that um, 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 if you, okay, he says that please don't look at Krishna playing flute on the bank of Yamuna in the night.
Mm.
Please don't look at Krishna playing flute on the bank of Yamuna in the night, because if you look at him, you will not be able to enjoy material pleasures because your heart will be so captivated. It's a, it's the opposite way of saying. I mean, he's trying to say that, dear readers, if you have any material desire, I request you, don't look at Krishna playing flute on bank of Yamuna. Otherwise you will not be able to enjoy this world. But we know the essence. What he's trying to say is, please meditate on Krishna playing flute on bank of Ganga. Then it will elevate us.
Thank you, Prabhu.
You are welcome. Okay. uh, any other question? Who is iPhone? Is this Suresh Prabhu?
Ah, Padma Mataji.
Yeah, Padma Suresh Prabhu. Yeah, I was thinking.
Padma.
Yeah, thank you, because I didn't see your name, then I thought maybe you joined through this. Okay, very nice. I'm happy to hear you, Padma Mataji. My Dandot Pranam to you. Okay, so
Thank you.
let's end here. My obeisances to all of you. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anand Kodi Vaishnavendra ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I'm actually always very grateful for your association. I really feel lot of divinity when I discuss with all of you. That's because of all of your interest and eagerness to hear about Krishna. So I'm very grateful for this association. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Very grateful. Hare Krishna.